Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'll give 1 more minute for more people to join, and we'll get started. Okay, so thanks everyone for attending this live training and Q&A session. My name is Ira. I'm a customer success manager at PractiTest. This type of training session is something that we're hosting a couple of times a month, each time in a different time zone. We will be sharing the recording with you after this meeting, so don't worry if you miss something, you can always revisit the recording. And this is our agenda for today. So we'll start with a PractiTest overview. We'll go over the end-to-end QA process as we recommend to manage it within PractiTest. I'll give you some tips for organizing, tracking, and reporting your testing work. And while we're going through all the PractiTest modules and features, I will also mention some of the newer features that I think worth paying attention to. And we'll have some time for questions at the end, but it is an interactive session, so please feel free to raise your hand or ask questions in the chat. I will periodically stop my monologue and we'll check the chat for questions, and I'll let you the opportunity to basically to interact as we go. So please feel free to interrupt me. Again, we want this to be kind of an interactive session and not a lecture. Okay, so starting just for those of you who are completely new to PractiTest, PractiTest is a test management platform. It's powered by AI, and the idea is that we want to help you scale and accelerate every step of your QA process. We have end-to-end testing modules starting from the planning with the requirement modules, with test execution, to reporting issues and managing them, to the reporting and measurement of the QA work. Saying that we are powered by AI, we have some very cool AI assisted features. So the duplication guardian, I will show it to you in the test module and in the issue module as well. The test generator also will have will have a little demo of how that works. And the execution strategist, which is more relevant to account owners or project managers. I'm not sure we'll be able to touch that today, but know that it exists and feel free to reach out to your customer success manager with more questions on that. Just a quick word about our customers. We have hundreds of of customers across different industries, countries, really worldwide. Um, yeah. And a few things that our marketing team asked me to mention today. So first of all, we have this inside the 2026 QA budget webinar on November 19th. I think that's not next week. Uh, you're very, very, very welcome and encouraged to sign up. It's on our website. Then we also have this state of testing survey that we're currently running. So you can answer a couple of questions and share your insights, and then get the results to kind of get a better understanding of what of the most important matters for QA teams and testers, kind of how you can compare yourself to other teams, basically. So that's that. Again, this also on our website in the resources. Just Google state of testing and you'll find it. Another thing that we are about to announce the winner of the 2025 QA Leader of the Year soon. You can vote. We previously asked to submit the names of who you think should be the QA Leader of the Year. Now it's open for voting. So again, you can Google that or check our website resource section to submit your vote. Yeah, so with no further ado, I will share my PractiTest screen. I hope you can see it. Okay. So I usually like to start these trainings or practice demos from the dashboards, because this is kind of the starting and ending point of all QA journeys. This is where we can get valuable insights of our testing that was done, and basically provide us with the information we need to plan the future testing that we're going to do. So the dashboards in PractiTest kind of offer an high-level visual overview of the testing progress. It shows you, it's possible to share it externally with other stakeholders in the organization. If you edit this dashboard tab, you can, one second here, you can basically enable this external URL, and this will lead you to, oops, sorry, I needed to save this. So this external URL would lead you to a web page like this, where so you basically can share this with any other stakeholder in your organization or outside of it, actually. They don't need to be a PractiTest user. So that's one cool feature. You can also embed it in some kind of internal organizational wiki page or any visual reporting tool that you're using in your team or your organization. Going back to the dashboards, another thing that we recently introduced, well, maybe not so recently, but in the past few months, is the the tab level filter in the dashboards. So again, this is something that you need to be a project manager, an admin, sorry, to activate from the when you edit the dashboard. But basically, it allows you to jump between different views of the dashboard. So right now I can filter by milestones. I can define to filter it, but by something else, of course, in the settings, but I can view for all milestones, and then I can also narrow down the view to one specific version, which is my milestone. So this version. And I can see the graphs change, and the data is only relevant to this specific milestone. Besides the dashboards, we also have our reports. I won't get into too much details about that, but the reports offer a more focused analysis of specific testing data. It's right here. You can create multiple reports for every module. You can export them and you can schedule their send. So to have it every day in your inbox, once a week, once a month, based on what you need, actually. We might get back to the reports and dashboards at the end if you have some questions about that, but I'll move along with kind of showing the QA workflow in PractiTest. So I think the first, we probably want to start with the requirement module, right? So this is where our journey begins. In the requirements module, you can create new requirements, or you can import tickets, user stories, tasks from Jira in this specific case, or from any other tool that you are using. We offer integration with multiple tools, also like Azure DevOps, ClickUp, and others. So you can import tickets from an external tool into PractiTest, or you can create a new requirement in PractiTest. So let me just jump here. So when we're in this specific look, what we have is the requirements, and we have the status bar, and the testing scope by default is defined by the tests, and specifically the link tests last run. Okay. So if I'm going here, I will see in my in my status bar, the testing status is started, and this is the bar. So I have one test that passed and one that is not completed. When I go to, and the scope is defined as tests. Okay, so as I said, test meaning that the link test last run. Here I have two tests linked to this specific requirement, and I can see their statuses. Now, again, this is quite a new feature that we recently introduced, and it's the ability to change the linkage type. So basically, to change the traceability from individual tests to entire test set. Okay, so once I click to switch to test set, I will be able to see the list of all my different test sets. And here, if I choose this specific one and add the selected test set, you will see that in here I have my test set name and I have a list of all the instances. Also, you can see that the status, basically the coverage of this one specific requirement has changed. So the status bar is different, and I can see in the traceability tab, I can see which tests passed, which failed, and which were not run yet. So that's on the coverage scope. Basically, this is something that is visible in PractiTest, in the requirement module, in reports, in dashboards, but it will also be reflected if you integrate with Jira, DevOps, or ClickUp. It will be reflected in the PractiTest panel in the specific ticket, meaning that that it will give some insight to the development team on how the testing goes, development, implementation, whoever is relevant in your case. The next thing in PractiTest, so after we defined our requirements, we will probably want to write our test cases. And here we want to create, we can create new tests and manage the test library. The idea with PractiTest is that we want to keep the tests reusable. We want to have them well organized, and the way to do that um, is with fields and with filter trees, like here. So if we want to, I will just open this one specific test case. As you can see, we have system fields like the test type. This is a scripted test. We also have BDD. We have automated tests that are created from the API and so on. But this is a scripted test. And we have the task board that we can add tests or test sets or instances to the task board and assign them as well to specific users or teams. So we have the system fields. We have also custom fields, for example, feature and sub features. So here for this test, I can define this is feature one, sub feature one, but I can also change that. This is very important because I want to mark my tests with basically label them to then be able to filter them in the test library, and I can use them many times in different test sets over and over again. So once again, have my fields here, and the way that this is set up also, again, project admins can access this edit form layout, which is also quite a bit of a newer feature that we introduced with the new UI. But basically it allows you to manage how your system and custom fields appear within the form in the test screen. So here I created two custom sections, mandatory fields and run history. But I can play with that. So I can have, for example, priority added in here for the test. I can have all these custom fields like build added here. And I can add more sections by clicking on add section. Again, you need to be a project admin to access this. Okay, so going back to the test library, let me just move all of this aside so we'll see the screen bigger. As I mentioned, we have our filters over here. We can create new filter by clicking on the plus, and I can name the filter. If I'm creating it with the auto filter functioning, it will name it automatically. And here I can actually create like a hierarchy or a filter structure with very few steps, and it's very convenient for organizing data. So for example, I want to create a hierarchy based on the test, based on the feature, sub feature. Then, by the way, this is new. We added, now you can create up to 4 levels of auto filters. It used to support only 2, so now it's 4. Then I want to see it by test level and maybe the test status. Okay, is it ready? Was it approved? Is it still a draft and needs, and so on. So this way I can also, from editing or creating a new filter, I can control the custom field, like the fields, basically what is visible in the table that displays all the tests under this filter. So for example, I want to see the tests run status and last run. And I also want to see the link requirements of this test when I look at it. So I creating this filter. And here it is. So as you can see, I have 3 features. Each feature have a few sub features. And here I have the different test types. So I have one regression and two sanity tests for this. And in sanity, I have one ready and one approved. Okay, so this is kind of the way to access specific tests in the test library. Now, when I'm creating a new test, there are a few things that I wanted you to note. So first thing is that once I start typing my name and functions, I should be. So similar test, I guess we don't have any similar test in this requirement. Let me just find a better example. Okay. So I'm creating a new test, login functions. Okay, it looks like something is stuck. Okay, we'll skip that. Okay, so I can name my test and add a description to it. So testing valid and invalid. When I go to my steps, I can use the AI based step generator, which will generate steps for me. Again, to have access to the step generator, a project or account owner, a project admin needs to activate it on the account level to give their consent to the generative AI. But basically, we're not using your data to teach the model, or to or it's not being used for other customers, other accounts of PractiTest, only within your project. And the only data that it has, that the AI has access to, is the name and the description of the test. If you're creating the test from the requirement directly, it will use the information, the name and the description of the requirement, but that's it, not your entire project or account data. So here we have our AI step generator created 10 steps. I can change, I can add a different prompt, so make steps more elaborate, and I can talk to the AI. We'll give it a second to think. Taking too many seconds. Not sure if, oh, here we are. Okay, so it will, you see, it made steps more elaborate. In some cases, it makes more sense than in others, but basically you can define, you can give specific instructions to redesign the steps of your test. Here I have to say that we can only trust the AI till a certain point. So I would use this feature kind of as a starting point for writing my test cases. And from here, when I apply my steps, I can go review them, and I can edit them, and I can make them more specific for my for the feature I'm testing, right? So you can also go into existing tests and use the step generator to improve the test steps that you have. Other functionalities in the test when I'm creating it is the copy step or call a test. So for example, if I'm now creating a test that will check login functions, I might have a similar test already, or I might have a test that the first steps would be similar. So I can copy them. So here I click on copy steps and I can select which test I want to copy steps from. So for example, here or here, I can select the specific step. So for example, log into the system. This is the step that will repeat in multiple tests. So I can copy that and I can add it. I think here it was added to the end, but I can make it step 1. So the first step is log into the system. Maybe that's how we start every test. Okay. So this is on the test library. Do we have any questions so far? Okay, I see Jeff is asking, will the meeting, the meeting is recorded and we will send it to you probably tomorrow once the recording is processed, and we'll send it to everyone who attended it. Any more questions? Um, oh, okay. Looks like nothing further, so I will continue. So now that we have created our, oh, I see there someone is asking. Seems like account admins needs to enable a lot of features for others to use. Yes, it's correct. The idea for most of the projects is that we have the initial project onboarding stage where actually me and my team, the customer success team, is helping the project admins setting up the project initially, and then we want to make sure that that the project stays within its limits of what the leads of the team defined in the beginning. So you cannot just like make huge changes to the project. But again, I think once the setup is the setup of the project is defined, the rest of the features are available to all users. Um, it's just for me, it's important to mention what is open to testers and what requires an admin access, so that you're not, confused if you don't have to see it in your own account when you log in. But generally, the entire setup happens before the testers even access the PractiTest. It's already all set up the way that the leads intended to. Okay, so from the test library, basically, once we've created our tests, we have multiple tests that are ready for testing. We want to create test sets, which the test sets and runs modules. This is our execution module. So basically, I can, let's say I can select, by the way, this is another filtering option. Besides these filters, with auto filters, we also have the quick filters. So for example, right now I want to see, regardless of the feature and sub-feature or whatever filters I defined previously, I just want to be able to see from all tests only the ones that are ready. Okay, so once I want to see the ready, I will apply and I will see all these tests. So now I have all these tests are ready to be executed, and I want to add them to a test set. Okay, so let me just select, whoops, this one. I can add them here. Another way to go about it, if I want to create a new test set, I can do it from the test sets and runs module. I can create a new test set. I will give it a name. And I can add descriptions. There are fields, so I can select this is a regression, the operating system that I want this to be run on, milestone, and so on. Milestone, we'll get back to it at the end after reviewing the rest of the modules. But basically, I can set up all my all the system fields and custom fields from here. And create my test set. Once this test set is created, this is my instances tab. I will add new instances. I can do it in bulk. I can basically use the same filters that I already created in my test library, in my test module, or I can look at all tests like before, and I can define from here, I can edit my column. So for example, I want to see again the status of my test, apply. Okay, here I have my statuses. I can click on this filter. I want to see all the ready and approved, for example. Here I have all of them. I can select all that and I can add the selected tests. As you can see, I also have some tests that are I have scripted, exploratory. I have API tests, so this means that these tests should be executed automatically, and their status, their run, will be updated through API. I can create separate test set just for the automated testing, but I can also include them in my test set with the manual testing. I can also see that if the API test passed, I can maybe there's no need to run certain manual tests, right? So we have this. Now, the reason that some of these tests are locked for execution is because of the test status. So first of all, no need to save. We didn't make any changes. So we have this. Now, the reason they are locked is because of their status. So this is again, sorry about that, again, an option that is set initially by a project admin. But in project settings in the workflow, we have here the different statuses. So from here, I can, this is the issue. We want to look at the test statuses. And from here, I can lock execution for tests of specific status. So here I locked execution for tests that are ready. I can unlock it now. And I can also lock edits, for example, tests that are ready. I want to lock edit so that they're not being changed while they are being used. I can also, you see, I have approved, I have locked where everything is locked. I can play with it. And I can also set up the user groups who can make this transition from, so here I define the transition from status ready to approved, for example. This is only available to admin. I feel like I agree now that this is a repeating topic. But I can define which user groups. It can be the basic groups or custom user groups that you create in your own account who can make which transitions. So once I had this changed, I can go back to my test set and where is all test regression. And now you can see that I can run, they are no longer locked and I can run my instances. Another thing that might lock the execution of an instance, which instance is a test within the test set, is if I enforce the run order from here. Once I click enforce run order, by the way, the test workflow and enforce run order is only available in our corporate plan. So in case if you don't see it in your account, maybe if you're in a trial account, you might not have access to it. You can contact support or my team, the customer success, we can talk about that. But basically, we can enforce the run order, meaning that I have the order here. I can, of course, change the order. So I want to move instances up or move instances down. But basically, the enforce run order functionality will prevent me to run this instance before the first the first instances are complete. So I can only start with the first one in this case. So now that I started, I want to configure my step parameters from here. I have username, I have my password, I saved it, and now I can also assign this instance to someone. I can also define who's the tester and so on. Once I click on save and run, I have here my steps. As you can see, this screen looks a bit different from the previous screens that I showed you guys. The runs are still using our old UI. This is planned to be updated, kind of get a little bit of a facelift and have addition like a more modern design, but also an improved functionality. This is planned for the beginning of next year. So you might see these screens start to change in a few months. For now, what I can do from here when I'm running my test is to pass, fail, block. So let's say the first step passed, but then my second and final step has failed. I can, of course, feel the actual result here. So credentials are accepted. I want to say not accepted, and I want to I can fail, or I can fail and report an issue from here, this button with the little bug next to it. Again, my project, this specific project, is linked to Jira, so I can directly report an issue into Jira, or I can create an internal inner issue, which will only be visible in PractiTest. Let's say if I want to create a bug that will be synced automatically with Jira, I can select my Jira project from here. I'll have my name and I'll have the description. Basically, it will include the step that has failed. It will have the information on the expected results and on the actual results, and it will have the steps to reproduce the issue. Basically, these steps are the previous steps, right? So once I click, I think, am I missing some field maybe? Or is it still processing? It says, please wait. Okay, not sure what's happening. Again, it's a demo project, so sometimes it has some issues. Maybe the integration is not really is not a real integration, but just a demo integration. Let me just show you how we create an inner issue. Basically, this will redirect me to the issues module. It's the final module that I wanted to show you. Here we have also the bug reported from test. We have the steps and I can here, again, I use this, created a custom section to define my, where I can say, oh, this is bug is related to this specific feature, this sub feature, or this area, a build, an operating system. I can set all of this field on the issue level so that when our development team is looking at this bug, they have all the information they need to reproduce it and to fix it. Then we can also set priority. So for example, this is absolutely a showstopper. I cannot log into the system, the most important part. And I can say, is it a defect? Is it a task? I can also define all kinds of fields here, and I can create. I have the option to just create or create and continue testing. So let's say in a different test that has more than 2 steps, like in my little demo test, I might have additional steps here. So this will take me right back to my test run, and it will resume the timer over here once I start it. Okay, now that since this was the final step, I can run the next test. Hopefully, I will find some very important bugs that we can prevent and report them as well in the same manner. So this is our execution module. I will pause for a second to see if you guys have any more questions. Just checking the Q&A. Okay, so we have a question about test trail. Yeah, absolutely. We can talk about it if time permits, but uh, 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 uh. Jeff, I think we should maybe take this offline in a private conversation. I will leave my email address in the chat, and we can set up a separate meeting to discuss the test trail migration. I'm very, very happy to help, but we only have less than 20 minutes left, and I want to complete my demo here. But we can absolutely help you with transferring data from TestRail. We have a lot of experience with that. So hold on, let me check the chat. This guy is a puzzle to duplicate test set execution. Jessica, I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Can you maybe elaborate on this question? Because it is possible to duplicate and create permutations of test sets. It is also possible to when you're cloning a test set or creating, when you're cloning a test set, it is possible to only clone failed instances. So those are the options that are relate to duplication, but if you can maybe elaborate a bit on what you mean by duplicate test set execution, that would be great. Era@PractiTest.com. Here's, I sent my email address on the chat. So if I didn't answer your question, please reach out to me privately after this session, and I'll be very, very happy to help. I promise. Okay, going back here. Where were we? So we completed our execution. We have our issues. Here again, same thing applies. I can see all my issues. I can assign them. I can define their statuses. We also have a status workflow if you're managing your issues inside of PractiTest and not in a different bug tracking tool. You can define who can change the status from new to rejected to fixed to closed. You can build this process in PractiTest with different roles, different user groups. And once I have my issue, and I can apply filters here with the quick filters, or I can I can create filters here, like in all the other modules. Basically, let's say I want to keep track of my issues that were fixed in the fixed this week. Okay, so I want to create my a filter for that, and what that means is that I will create a criteria that their status is fixed, and that their the last time they were modified, meaning that someone changed their status from open to fixed, is in the last 1 weeks. So I will create that. I can also then see, I don't know, maybe I want to have a different fields here. Maybe I want to see which sprint it is from. Or maybe I want to see the tests that this issue is linked to. Maybe I want to see what else can be here. Maybe I want to see their priority on top, like as the first field I see after the title. Once I create this filter, my also the columns in my table will be here. Now, nothing in my demo project was fixed this week. So let me just go to all issues. I can see here I have the fixed one, and if I click on it and I go to my traceability tab, doesn't have, it was not reported from let me see. So this bug was reported from a test. In my traceability tab, I can see the run information from where this issue was reported, and I can use this retest button to retest. It will take me back to the same, the exact same version of my test. It will show me the actual results on the failed step, and it will allow me basically to change it. If now it passed, I can say, okay, so the credentials are accepted, all good. I can run the next test. Or I can just close, leave, and I can say, I can go back to my issues module, and I can verify that this specific issue is in fact fixed. As it said, I can change the status to closed. So this is how we basically wrap up, I think, the kind of standout QA flow. Obviously, different organizations, different teams have a bit of a different workflow. And this is something, if you're struggling a bit to translate your workflow into PractiTest, this is where me and my team come in. So feel free to reach out to me. I will probably redirect your call to the most relevant person in the team. If you know who your customer success manager is, you can feel free to reach out directly to them. This is also worth mentioning at this stage that it's also possible to speak with our support team from here. You can send us a message. You'll probably have to speak with Kai first, but if you ask to speak to a person, it will redirect it, and we answer quite quickly. Another thing is I wanted to share today is that we have all these different resources over here. So we have a help center with very useful how-to guides about all the different modules and everything I showed today. There is also tutorials, there is an option to ask us for new features from a platform that is called User Voice. It's over here. You can basically suggest something. Once you start typing, it will show you what was, if there is a similar idea already. For example, we have versioning of test cases. It was upvoted 74 times, and we already started working on this feature that was requested by multiple users. So that's our user voice. Another thing is the discussion forum. We just now this week relaunched it. As you can see, I'm here a lot monitoring and adding content to this forum, but I encourage you to post, to first of all, read some of these topics. There might be useful information, questions that you had and other users already asked and we answered. For example, here someone asked how to, if there's a dashboard API to pull the run stats. Another thing is you can create a new topic. You can say, is it a QA talk, which is more like methodological and strategic question for the hive mind of the PractiTest user community, or is it a PractiTalk topic, which may basically kind of a more technical questions related specifically to the PractiTest platform. I think it's very, very useful. We have an active, intelligent community of users that I'm sure can be very, very helpful to you. Back into PractiTest, and the topic that I want, kind of the module that I want to wrap up this tutorial with, this training session with, is our milestones module. This is after you've, this is where basically you can group your requirements, test sets, and issues based on a sprint or a version, or it's kind of a project within your project. So you can, basically allows you to keep track of release, version, sprint, whatever. You can define the status. For example, is it active? Or maybe I want to now to create an upcoming one. The type, so we have sprint or version. Let's say this is a sprint, and we want to set a start date and an end date. I can name it. So for example, I want to name it sprint 38, 2025, whatever. Can add a description if I want. Once I create it, I will be able to link requirements and test sets into it. So the idea is I want to link requirements. I can select them. So those requirements were imported from Jira. I can also link requirements that were created in PractiTest. So let's say I have my 4 requirements here. Then I can link related test sets. Okay. So for example, this one that was never, that is not linked to any other milestone. Basically, a test set can only be linked to one milestone, but I can always duplicate a test set and link it to a different milestone. So for example, if I have a regression test that happens every sprint, I can duplicate it or create a permutation of it and link each copy of it to the new milestone I'm creating. Once I link those, it's very, very cool, but the issues that I will report from now on from this test set will automatically be linked to this milestone as well. But of course, I can also manually link issues from here, like I did with the requirements and the test sets. So let's link these two. Here, what I can say about the milestone module is that we're planning to to create basically the ability to sync Jira sprints to milestones directly. So kind of to save this process of creating the milestone and linking requirements to it. So that's coming up. But other than that, it's very, very useful. You can use milestones as filters in all the other modules and in the dashboards and reports. So basically, there are also these graphs, not very useful in a demo project, but in an actual project with testing data will be more insightful. So this is our milestone module. I think I covered maybe not all, but most of what I wanted to share with you guys. We have 4 minutes left. I'll stop sharing. No, maybe I'll keep sharing my screen, but I will check the chat to see if there are any more questions. Okay, so Jeff, I sent it in the chat. I'm not sure if maybe if it's not visible. Basically, my email address is just ira, IRA, @practitest.com. Please feel free to email me if you have additional questions or if you want to set up a quick meeting with me or with one of our other customer success managers, and we can help you with whatever you need help with. Yeah, ira@practiTest.com. Exactly. Perfect. Anything else? Anyone else? We have a few more minutes for some questions. Okay. Uh, Nothing here. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for your time today. It was my pleasure. I hope I showed you useful stuff in PractiTest. Again, please feel free to reach out to our support team or directly to me after this session if you have any additional questions. We will share the recording in a couple of days, Max, and thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.